Folks, have you ever seen a wide receiver dance through a defense like it's a Broadway stage, turning every route into a highlight reel that leaves you breathless? Well, last night on Monday Night Football, George Pickens didn't just play. He performed, and Jerry Jones called it poetry in motion. Welcome to your Cowboys Spotlight, where America's team is rewriting the script in the desert. I'm your host, diving deep into this thrilling 33-16 smackdown over the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium, and trust me, it's got Dallas buzzing from Frisco to Fort Worth.
Let's set the scene, because what a night it was under those Vegas lights. The Cowboys, sitting pretty at 3-5 coming in, needed a spark to ignite their season, and boy, did they deliver. Dak Prescott slinging it like the gunslinger he is, the offensive line holding firm against that Raiders rush, and the defense. Oh man, they swarmed like a pack of Blue Star Wolves, forcing turnovers and sacking Aiden O'Connell into oblivion. But the real showstopper? George Pickens, the Georgia Bulldog turned Cowboy phenom, who lit up the scoreboard with 9 catches for 144 yards and that dagger of a touchdown. A 37-yard beauty where he snagged it midair and ran through 2 tacklers like they were traffic cones. If you missed it, go rewind that ESPN highlight right now. It's the kind of play that makes you jump off the couch and high-five the dog. Now, picture this. The game kicks off, and in a head-scratcher of a call, both Pickens and star teammate CeeDee Lamb start on the bench for that first offensive drive. Coach Brian Schottenheimer easing them in, maybe testing the waters against a Raiders secondary that's been leaky all year. But once those two hit the field, boom, chemistry unlocked. Pickens wasn't just targeted, he was the magnet, pulling coverage away and creating space for everyone. That touchdown. It came on a 2nd and 10 laser from Dak, Pickens high-pointing it over Nate Hobbs like he was swatting a fly, then stiff-arming his way into the end zone. 9 receptions, folks, that's too shy of his career high, but the yards? 3rd best game of his life. And let's not forget the blocking downfield. This guy's not just a receiver, he's a full-field threat, turning short gains into chunk plays that had the Cowboys Nation erupting on social media. But hold on, because the real fireworks came post-whistle, when Jerry Jones stepped up to the mic and dropped a bombshell that's got the whole league talking. "I've never seen a performance like that," Jones beamed, his Texas drawl thicker than brisket gravy. "It was poetic the way he moved out there, like he was in an opera or something. A ballet on turf. Can you imagine?" Jerry Jones, the man who's owned this franchise since 1989, who's watched legends like Michael Irvin torch defenses for 1,523 yards in '95, Deion Sanders primetime his way to interceptions galore, Des Bryant sky-high snatches that bent the rules of physics, Terrell Owens celebrating in your face, and even CeeDee Lamb's breakout 1,749-yard wizardry last season. Jerry saying he's never seen anything like Pickens? That's not just hype, that's Jerry being Jerry, the ultimate promoter, pumping up one of his off-season masterpieces. See, back in May, after the '25 draft, Jones pulled off a heist that had Steelers fans fuming and Cowboys faithful doing the two-step. For a measly 3rd-round pick in '26 and a swap of lower ones, Dallas snagged Pickens from Pittsburgh, a kid coming off a rocky tenure with the black and gold, where off-field whispers overshadowed his on-field explosions. At 24, this Georgia alum was raw talent wrapped in controversy, but Jerry saw the fit, a deep threat burner to pair with Lamb, easing the load on Dak and turning that high-powered offense into a juggernaut. And has it paid off? In spades. Through 10 games this season, Pickens leads the team with 908 receiving yards. That's over 90 a pop, folks, and 7 touchdowns, second only to, well, himself in Pittsburgh last year. 58 catches, too, putting him right behind Lamb's 62. Compare that to his Steelers days. 1,140 yards over 17 games in '24, but now? He's averaging 90.8 yards per game in Dallas, up from 67 there. Why? Scheme. Schottenheimer's spread concepts play to his speed, 4.47 in the 40, and those contested catch paws that remind you of a young Randy Moss, minus the moonwalk celebrations. Let's zoom out for some tactical breakdown, because this wasn't just Pickens shining, it was the whole symphony clicking. Dak, 22 of 28 for 285 yards and 3 scores, no picks. His best primetime outing since that '23 thriller against the Bills. The O-line, anchored by that beast Tyler Smith on guard, gave him pockets cleaner than a Sunday suit, allowing just 1 sack. Defensively, after trading Micah Parsons to Green Bay in that cap-crunching move, ouch, still stings, they leaned on new addition Quinnen Williams, who notched his first sack as a Cowboy on O'Connell, flattening him like a pancake and forcing a fumble. Williams, scooped up from the Jets in another Jones gamble, brings that interior pressure that's been missing since Parsons bolted. Raiders. They mustered 16 points, but it felt like charity, turnovers galore, and their secondary looked like Swiss cheese against Dallas's air raid. Stat line for the game. Cowboys outgained them 412 to 289 total yards, held the ball 34 minutes, and converted 8 of 13 third downs. That's dominance, plain and simple. To put this in historical context, rewind with me to the glory days that make Cowboys fandom addictive. America's team, born in 1960 under that Lone Star logo, christened by none other than NFL Films for their nationwide appeal. Think JFK watching from the White House. They've got 5 Lombardi trophies, tying the Pats and Steelers, but the last one's from '95, when Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, that Hall of Fame freight train with 18,355 rushing yards, and Michael Irvin hoisted it in Tempe. Fast forward to now, this win bumps Dallas to 4-5, a lifeline in the brutal NFC East, where the Eagles are lurking at 7-2 with that Jalen Hurts rocket arm, the Giants scraping by at 3-6, and the Commanders somehow 5-4. Remember that 22 season? Cowboys went 12-5, crushed the Bucs in the wild card, only to get curb-stomped by the Niners. Last year, 7-10 disappointment, cap hell forcing the Parsons trade. But Pickens, he's channeling that Irvin swagger, deep posts, sideline fades, and his 7 TDs already match Lamb's pace. Trivia time. Did you know Pickens' college heroics at Georgia included a diving 52-yarder in the 21 Natty against Bama, despite a fresh ACL tear? Bulldog grit, now in Star Blue. And speaking of stars, let's bring in some voices from the locker room, imagined, but ripped straight from the heart of Cowboys Nation. I cornered Pickens post-game, sweat still dripping, that gold chain gleaming. Man, Jerry's words means the world, he said with a grin wider than the Permian Basin. But it's all about the squad. Dak hit me in stride all night. CD's my brother out there. We're building something special. Pittsburgh was cool, but Dallas? This offense is a Ferrari, and I'm flooring it. Over by the water cooler, Lamb chimes in, ever the leader. George is electric, plain and simple. We sat that first drive to stay fresh, but once we cooked, Raiders couldn't touch us. NFC East better watch out. Eagles rematch in December? Get your popcorn. Even Schottenheimer, clipboard in hand, couldn't hide the smile. Pickens runs routes like a poet, yeah, but it's the yards after catch that kill. He's averaging 15.7 this year, top 5 in the league. Jerry's right, it's art. But contract whispers loom. Pickens' rookie deal ends 25, and he's eyeing a 4-year, $121 mil extension, per the projections. Jerry, known for wheeling and dealing, remember snagging Randy Galland in '89. We'll open the vault, but after the Parsons salary dump, cap space is tighter than a goal line stand. Prediction. Cowboys rattle off 3 straight, finish 9-8, snag a wild card, and shock the world in round 1. Why? Because in Dallas, we don't rebuild, we reload, like that '77 Super Bowl run after the Hail Mary heartbreak. But wait, there's more tying this to the world outside the lines. Pop culture nod. Pickens' ballet moves? Straight out of Friday Night Lights, that Odessa Permian poetry, now in AT&T's $1 billion glow. And current events. As Texas rallies post-hurricanes, Cowboys wins feel like a statewide hug, uniting us from the Panhandle to the Gulf. Jerry even quipped it's better than a state fair corny dog. Cowboys Nation, this is your clarion call. Dust off that Silver Star jersey, fire up the grill, and tune in Sunday for Arizona. How about them Cowboys? They're dancing again, and the NFC East is the stage. Follow us here for every snap, every story, because in Dallas, football isn't a game, it's a legacy. Until next time, keep the faith, stay passionate, and remember, stars shine brightest under pressure. Go Stars!